Namaskar friends, how are you guys doing? Welcome to the 14th edition of Nakshebaazi. आज हम लोग बेटा जो मैप उठाने जा रहे हैं, the region which we are going to pick up is something which is not very well known amongst us. We are going to look at the entire eastern region of the subcontinent, and I was not too sure how should I call it, because the thing is, what I want to do here, I want to talk about that entire Bengal, Odisha, southern Bihar, Bangladesh, right, and a lot of other Assam region, northeast region, right. This is something which I'm sure you would agree is not very well known there. Its history is not very well known here. I intend to try and give you certain thoughts, food for thoughts on it, right? So how I will proceed here is, I will give you a bit idea about the ancient sketchy history, whatever we know about this region. And once we are done with that, I will specifically deal with a couple of kingdoms of northeast. Bengal, the medieval time, I would like to discuss it, during the time when we are talking about disintegration of a Delhi Sultanate. There I will pick up Bengal, don't worry. Right? But this region, not a lot of information about it is present in the ancient times. In fact, if you look at it, till 350 CE, that means the Common Era, the era which is running, we do not find any evidence of a civilization or state, cities, etc. in these eastern parts of the subcontinent. Till 350 CE, we do not find any notions of civilization present, except in a small coastal region called as Kalinga. I'm sure you guys know about Kalinga, right? Suna hoga uske bare mein. Kalinga is between Ganjam district of Odisha to Srikakulam district in Andhra. That small stretch of coastal land is the historical Kalinga region. It had capital as Shishupalgarh. It became very powerful under the Mahameghavans, right? The King Kharwel. Okay. So as I was telling you, till 350 CE, this area is not drawing any historical record as such. But then 350, emerge Guptas, 320, the Guptas come into the picture. We do not know about the precise origin of Guptas. Some people say they may have come from, they were Vaishnavism dynasty. They may have emerged from the Bangladesh region, right? And these Guptas emerged. And we hear of one Samudragupta. We hear of one Samudragupta, and we hear of, his Allahabad Prashasti, Prayag Prashasti, where he talks about all the kings that he has managed to subdue. And now you will start noticing references to historical kingdoms and kings. This is the first instance where we start seeing developments of state. Concrete evidence comes to us from Allahabad Prashasti, right? This Prashasti itself, if you look at it, it's a very interesting artifice, right? It's present in Allahabad, right? And there are three great emperors present here. Ashoka, it's an Ashokan pillar. And his inscription, in fact, there's an inscription of his queen as well. Right? Then we have inscription of Samudragupta, which is the most important one. which is the most important one, written by Hari Sen. And then there's also scribblings by Jahangir. Right? So, the point that you need to remember is that in this time period, this region, इसका foundational phase ये है. This is where Guptas and then later the governors of Guptas, as Guptas decline, the governors of Guptas, their vassals, they start becoming independent. So they also give a lot of land grants. They also give a lot of land grants to Brahmins and Buddhists, especially Brahmins. Right? And this is the Prayag Prashasti. It is written in the Gupta script. It is a evolution of Brahmi. It is an evolution of Brahmi. It mentions kingdoms and regions of eastern India. These were the regions which were subdued. तो वहां से हमको इंफॉर्मेशन ग्लीन करनी पड़ती है. राइट? देखिए क्या इंफॉर्मेशन मिल रही है अपने को. वी आर बीइंग टोल्ड दैट नॉर्दर्न ओडिशा, all that region is called as a Dakshin Koshal. Right? Then we also hear of Mahakantara. This is your western Odisha. And Chhattisgarh region, the tribal forested land. Here the Nal kings or the Nal chiefs were in power. This region also includes Bastar. And you would be surprised to know this, that the Nal kingdom of Bastar issued gold coins. We have discovered golden coins from kingdoms of this region. How fascinating, right? This is another map of the Gupta Empire, just to give you guys some ideas. This is Mahakantara. Can you see that? Dakshin Koshal. There is a Koshal in northern India as well. Right? Koshal of Ayodhya. And then there is the Dakshin Koshal, which is your primarily northern Odisha region. See, this is the Ganjam district of Odisha. And this is Srikakulam. So this narrow region is your Kalinga. The region above Mahanadi is your northern Orissa, or your, Dakshin Koshal, as was being called. So some of the important dynasties that we are being told here, some of the important dynasties in ancient times that we are being informed about in this region, are Matahara Dynasty. Matahara Dynasty of Kalinga. They ruled Kalinga in 4th and 5th century CE. They were then replaced by Pitru-Bhakt Dynasty. How interesting. Matahar replaced by Pitru-Bhakts. And then we also hear of Manas Dynasty, who issued copper coins. Right? All of them, all of these kingdoms that we're talking about here, they had their taxation system, an organized army, and they issued land grants. They gave huge tracts of land to Brahmins. Why? Because Brahmins had knowledge of calendars, seasons, agriculture. They also knew about Arthashastra. So all the knowledge of the society was being controlled by this group. So this Brahmanical culture now moves to these tribal, forested, so many other regions. taking its own varna and caste system along with it. जहां पे भी रूलिंग क्लास ने हाथ मिलाया, a lot of them were given Kshatriya status. Of course, I'm simplifying. I am a simplistic person, right? But yeah, मोटा मोटा कुछ ऐसा मुझे प्रतीत होता दिखता है. I would ask you to please go ahead and talk about this with other people as well. Do not take one person's advice as a given, one person's opinion as a given. And history is a lot about opinion, isn't it? So please always look at multiple perspectives. है बात सही कि नहीं? हमेशा. और उसके बाद अपने दिमाग को सुनो. That's the most important part of the process. Okay, anyway, so as I was telling you, these Brahmins, they started entering the red soil region, the tribal forested land as well. The kings, they claim to be the protectors of the Varnashram Dharma. The deltaic region of, this Ganga and Brahmaputra here, this is called as, the ancient name was Samtata. This, of course, most of it is in Bangladesh. This is why these terms are no longer, told to us. NCRT do mention it, I believe, Samtata, right? Area between Ganga and Brahmaputra, right? This region, which is now called as Bangladesh, right? This became completely, it started becoming settled because these were alluvial plains. These were alluvial plains, isn't it? They are not red soil region. So यहां पर हम लोग को देखने को मिल रहा है कि वही गुप्ता टाइम्स में the Brahmanical culture did become entrenched. Sanskrit, the region got Sanskritized. The Bangladesh region. इसका मतलब मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूं कि वहां पे सब लोग संस्कृत बोलने लग गए, right? That's not the understanding. I'm trying to say here is that somewhere that those Brahmins, the priestly classes, they started becoming a major feature of that society. Because now they became, thought leaders. Everybody wanted to have a piece of cake with Ramayana and Mahabharata. So they all got their legacies interwoven with these epics. Very, very fascinating process. I have not been able to understand it a lot, but it is fascinating, beyond doubt. So as I was telling you, as Guptas declined, many of these governors, they started becoming independent. Right? They were Samants previously. They were just vassals. But now they became Maharajas. At this point of time, one of the Samant, जो नाम बताया जा रहा है अपने आप को Prague Jyotish. Right? So one of the Samant, a family which is called as a Prague Jyotish, they who have been present since 350, they captured North Bengal in the middle of the 6th century. And they became the dominant power in this region. Prague Jyotish. So this entire region, right, it is known as Kamarupa Kingdom. It is known as Kamarupa Kingdom. And now I want you guys to, for a while, forget about Bengal. Bengal has its own intrinsically complicated history. Sultanat के संग उसकी भिड़ंत होगी, कभी अंदर आएगा, कभी बाहर आएगा. That I do not want to discuss. So मैंने आपको बंगाल का थोड़ा सा कुछ बताया. Ancient times का, ओडिशा का मैंने थोड़ा सा कुछ बताया. Now I am actually taking the liberty here of focusing on northeast. ठीक है, अपने को दो नाम पता चलते हैं बेटे नॉर्थ ईस्ट के. When we look at northeast specifically, then we find that Allahabad Prashasti, it talks of two kingdoms of the region. One is Davak and the other is Kamarup. And Kamarup gradually captures Davak. That's all we know. What sketchy information, right? Isn't it? So after that, Kamarup becomes stronger. Right? And Kamarup is a kingdom on which several dynasties came. On which several dynasties came. ये देखिए, this is the map now you should be focusing upon, right? Assam is primarily basin of Brahmaputra, running from west to east. That is Assam. Davak and Kamarup were the earliest states. Huansang visited the capital, Prague Jyotishpur. The dynasty's name was Prague Jyotish. Kamarup was the region. The city was Prague Jyotishpur. At Kamarup there have been three dynasties: Prague Jyotish, Mlechchha and Pal. That's the only set of understanding which I wanted to discuss here through this class actually. I'll elaborate. Hang on. So Huansang do visit Prague Jyotishpur, which is the capital of Prague Jyotish dynasty, which were ruling Kamarup at that point of time. Right? See, this is the Kamarup Kingdom. Right? And these are the three dynasties. The Varman, जिनको मैं बोल रहा हूं क्या, Prague Jyotish. A lot of their inscriptions, they are calling themselves Prague Jyotish. Right? So the Prague Jyotish or Varman dynasty, they ruled from 350 to 650. Then came the Mlechchha dynasty. This is the same time period when Bengal started undergoing that flux of chaos as well, right? Matsya Nyaya जो हम लोग को बताया जाता है. Now, fortunately for Bengal, Matsya Nyaya, the period got over after 100 years. Here we hear about this Mlechchha dynasty, which rules for 250 years. Which rules for 250 years, and finally in 900, the Palas, they conquer this region as well. So they became the ruler of Kamarup. The Palas. Right? Okay. This is the map of Ahom Kingdom. This is the map of the Ahom Kingdom. It was established in 13th century CE. It was established in 13th century CE by a prince from Yunnan. Yunnan is a province in China. So from that province came a prince who is called as Sukapa. And he is supposed to have 1228 to 1268. He established this Ahom kingdom. They are an outsider. This issue has been politicized a lot. The name Assam derives from them. They were coming from Yunnan, China. And they came and they established this very wonderful kingdom, right? It began in the upper reaches of Brahmaputra, based on wet rice agriculture. Wet rice agriculture के basis पर जो paddy cultivation होता है, right? And then in 16th century, He is a contemporary of Akbar, by the way, right? This fellow, Suhung Mang. They really became they expanded and they became multi-ethnic. So they were no longer that small, Chinese associated external people. They became multi-ethnic. This is also precisely the time when Srimant Mahapurush Shankar Dev made a drastic introduction of Vaishnavism in Assam. Satriya, right? Satriya, Ankiya, Nat. He used all these wonderful aspects of Assamese culture, innovated a few, right? And he is, single-handedly considered responsible for the spread of Vaishnavism, which this region saw. Okay? They are known, these guys are known, for holding out against Mughals for almost 600 years. So now do you realize, for the right wing, Ahom is a very hard pill to digest and a hard pill to throw away. On one hand, we can label them as an outsider. And on the other hand, we can say that, they are like the Hindu response to the Islamic exploitation and barbarism. Right, so interesting phenomena going on, right, in Northeast. This is Suhung Mang that I was talking about, right? They are also known for the Payak system. They are known for Payak system. This is one reason why they expanded phenomenally, and they did it very well for a long while. Under this Payak system, which was basically a bonded labor kind of a system, under this, what would happen is that, every male from 15 to 50, every male from 15 to 50 will be divided into groups called as goat with 4 members. And every month, every year, this goat will have to send one person in the services of the state for building road, for this, for that. And during war, the goat will have to contribute even more. And when I am gone, the other members of the goat will take care of my land and my property. It worked nicely for a while, but then they became simply too cracked. One reason was Vaishnavism. One reason was Vaishnavism, which came in, and a lot of people, they realized that, they do not want to do this. And a lot of people, they started becoming monks, just to get out of the goat system, right? And that leads to a wonderful rebellion as well later on. Okay, so this is primarily it. This is primarily it. One more point which I think I should make before I leave you guys is that Assam faced a very aggressive Burma in late 18th century and early 19th century. 1790s के आसपास से Burma became very aggressive, and they defeated Burmese. They captured Assam region, and then the entire Anglo-Burmese war, the first war, took place, and Treaty of Yan Dabu was signed between EIC and Burmese Empire, and Assam came under control of East India Company. The entire Brahmaputra Valley, it came under its control, right? So I agree. I have not delivered what I promised. I did not give you a very great in-depth understanding of Northeast, right? But this is all that we actually can sieve out. Of course, there's much more of, right? मेरे दिमाग में इतना ही आ पाया. So God bless you all. Have fun. Keep watching this space and keep commenting. I really am admiring a lot of sweet comments which you guys are writing. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. God bless you all and keep smiling. Keep learning. Bye.